Hey all, XArt student here. Today, we're going to be reading some ghost stories. These are stories that have happened to me. And just so you have some context, I have always been a skeptic since I was younger until these experiences kept happening, so now I definitely believe in ghosts. But I figured on this wonderful Halloween day, let's tell some spooky stories. Sit by a fire, let's get cozy, let's get creepy, let's get started. Taking a look at our books index, and we have Ouija, Bookstore, Halloween, Lantern Hill, and After. Let's get started with Ouija. So we went to our friend's grandfather's mansion, and he sadly passed away. One Halloween, we tried using a Ouija board. It didn't work, which was probably for the better. Eventually, we decided to go back, and that's when we brought our own Ouija board and decided, yeah, let's try it. Let's do it. We don't believe in ghosts, so who cares? Maybe we could say hi to our friend's grandpa. We looked up the basics online. We knew how to start and how to end. So we had myself and a friend who were both super duper skeptic. We both were like, yeah, we'll put our hands on the planchette, it'll be fine. And it kept moving. So we're like, you're doing it. No, you're doing it. Both of us swore we weren't. We made contact with this ghost named the Fonz. That's how he wanted to be referred to. And turns out he worked on the farm. The mansion was actually on farmland where there was a bunch of horse stables, and he was really funny. He enjoyed our humor, and we're like, oh, did you think our friend's grandma was hot? And he's like, yep. And we're like, are you sure you're fine with us joking around and being silly? And he said yes. We're like, okay, cool. And we were just a bunch of dumb 20-year-olds, so it seemed fun, and we're like, all right, nothing harmful is coming from this. Eventually, we got to the subject of the Fonz's death. We asked him if it was an accident. He said no. Oh, were you murdered? And I swear, my friend's in my hand. I was here, my friend was on the other side. My hand and my back were shoved to the yes. I physically flew that way, and my friend flew back with his planchette to the yes. After we asked if the Fonz was murdered or not, that's when things started taking a turn. Turns out he was murdered by the owner of the land, whoever owned the mansion at the time. We don't know why, but he was killed, and it was sad because he liked taking care of the horses. Also, murdered. We did know enough that in order to end the session, we needed to ask if we could leave and say goodbye. So we kept asking the Fonz, and he's like, no, not yet. And then we're like, oh, are we the only ones in here? Just you and us? He was like, no. And something to note, my younger brother was there with us. He kept asking questions and he was ignored. Out of all 5 of us there, he was the only one that was being ignored. And we thought that was pretty weird, but we just kept continuing because we were having a good time up until that point. The Fonz started telling us that a bunch of ghosts were around us that were not friendly and wanted to hurt us. So we're like, okay, we want to go. And he kept saying no. So we were freaking out. We're like, all right, we gotta end this somehow. Eventually, when the Fonz thought it was safe, he was like, okay, leave now. And we're like, what? He's like, leave now. The planchette was moving fast to tell us this multiple times, like, get out now, get out now. So we said goodbye, we packed it up, we ran out of there. Of course, I dropped my wallet as we're skittering out of there. We had to come back. We're like, oh my God, we're gonna die, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. We didn't, but that was a crazy experience. We retold the story to my parents once we got to my house, and we were freaking out. We were telling all the details, how cool it was, and then how scary it was. We realized the reason why they probably weren't talking to my brother, he had a saint pendant on. Maybe that's the reason, you were repelling the spirits. None of his questions were answered. He'd asked multiple times, and we were asking 10,000 questions all the time, and it was pretty wild. So after that, I was like, oh, maybe ghosts might be real. Okay, next, the bookstore. One time a friend and I were at this abandoned bookstore in my hometown. It was 3 or 4 in the morning. We were just hanging out, being hooligans. We like to explore abandoned places, so this was an abandoned place. It was basically just a square of a room with a giant hole in the middle and a window that didn't have any glass facing the lake. It was a beautiful place, so we just liked hanging out there and taking pictures. Eventually, we heard to the left of us that someone was walking down the staircase that led to this bookstore. And we didn't know who it was. Common etiquette was you just say hi and you act friendly for whoever's coming, so then they don't get scared and you don't get scared, and you could just say, yeah, we're just exploring, it's cool. No need to be frightened. We're like, hi, how's it going? And we didn't hear anything, but we kept hearing the footsteps. It almost sounded like there was a dog with them because there was multiple footsteps. They got to the doorway and we saw nothing, which was really weird. And of course it is 4 in the morning, But normally you'd see a shadow from the street light. We didn't. What I did see was blobs come from the doorway. They were circular and yellow and red and blue muted blobs coming in through the doorway, going around the hole and then going down through the hole. I was freaking out. And in my head, I thought I communicated to my friend, let's get the fuck out. But I didn't. I kind of just ran around the hole and ran out and got away. When we talked later, my friend and I were discussing it. We're like, you saw that? Yeah, you saw that. What did you see? I told him about my blobs. And he told me that he saw an actual shadow of a person come in, but it disappeared and fell into the hole. We both saw something that night. I guess my friend's vision was stronger than mine. Next, Halloween. This happened many years ago on Halloween. My friend heard about our Ouija experience and wanted to have one of our own. We snuck into this abandoned building that we always did all the time, but Halloween, of course, was the riskiest because that's when all the cops were going to be there, that's when other kids were going to be there breaking things, and cops are actually enforcing tickets or arresting people. We had a friend on the inside who worked for the town and was able to tell us where the cops were or where they weren't, so we would stay safe. We brought the Ouija board into the building and we tried communicating. Nothing happened. I'm like, okay, guess it's not haunted, or maybe we're just doing it wrong, maybe the spirits are busy, whatever. We goofed off, we shot some Roman candles, nothing crazy. Eventually, we decided it's time to get out, but we realized that the cops were roaming on foot through the woods, so we could easily get caught. They weren't just driving around the buildings. So we went through the tunnels and we eventually found this manhole cover, and we knew that it could get out into the woods and hopefully we'd be safe and there was no police. So they decided, yeah, let's get out right here, but we have to make sure no one's there so we don't get arrested or tickets or anything else. And they volunteered me, so I went up first and I stuck my head out. It was hard to see because it was pitch black. I was looking around, and right in front of me, as soon as I put my head out of the manhole cover, I saw this giant deer face in my face. Like huge, but just the face, the head portion, and a silhouette. I couldn't see any details of this deer. I just knew it was a deer, and it was looking straight at me. It didn't move. I didn't move. I was scared beyond belief. Eventually, I went back down the ladder and I told my friends what I saw. I was freaking out. Eventually, they poked their head up and saw no one, so we were able to escape. Part of me thinks that the deer was trying to stop us from going up, just in case there were police officers walking around. I don't know. I think it was just curious and looking at me. Next story. Lantern Hill. I like going on hikes with my dog, and I like exploring new places. When I first moved to Connecticut, that was no different. It helps me get to know the area, as well as just clears my mind, because I love being in the woods. We went to this hike called Lantern Hill. It has a beautiful look over trees. It just rained, so all the colors were vibrant. My dog and I were doing really well. I was letting her lead me. I didn't use any maps, and she was able to sniff around to see past people who have walked around, and she was going the correct way. You could see it in the trail. We were doing really well. It had a lot of obstacles, a lot of beautiful nature, and it was really, really fun. We passed one couple on the trail, and they were going the opposite way of us. No big deal. It was early in the morning. It was just my dog and I, and we were having fun. Eventually, we got to this level ground, and we went one way. It brought us to this junkyard. I was like, well, I don't really want to go that way. Where's the exit? How do I get out of this place? How do I get to my car? I went back into the middle of the woods, trying to debate, should I go to the junkyard or should I go to this mysterious trail that had a lot of trees down? It wasn't really clean, but maybe it could lead to my car. Who knows? I've never been here. I was debating it, trying to look at the GPS. Then I noticed my dog was sniffing around and going towards the path that wasn't as clean. I was like, maybe I'll go. I turned off everything on my phone and was about to follow her. All of a sudden, in my ear, I hear, hey. I whipped around. No one was there. No one was anywhere close to me or anywhere far from me. We were the only people or animals in the woods that I could see. Of course, I screamed and I ran. I didn't run the way that we were initially going, which was the path that wasn't cleared. I went towards the junkyard and I just kept running with my dog. Turns out if you keep going further down the road, you get to the street that led you to your car. Turns out being scared helped me. So something I didn't mention, when I got whispered in my ear, I saw in my mind this long-legged tree creature with fur all over it, antlers, and you could just tell it was some kind of nature spirit or something. Almost like the deer in Princess Mononoke. And not seeing anyone around, Because I was like, oh, maybe the couple's back. Maybe someone's just saying hi to me. No, it was no one. I checked the volume on my phone. I checked all the apps. Everything was off. So that was weird. Later, when I got home, I started researching the place. Is there some haunted stuff that happens? Is it on Indian burial grounds? What's going on here? Turns out it is Native American land. They do mention that there's snakes there that bite, and I don't remember if they're poisonous or not, but they said be careful, don't go on any paths that aren't cleared away because they do hide and they will bite you. So part of me thinks whatever that deer forest spirit was, or ghost, it was trying to protect us. Because if I got bit or my dog got bit, who's going to help us in the middle of the woods? And also, it led us back to my car. So how could it be an evil spirit? Maybe it was just being playful or helpful? Who knows? After that incident, I definitely believed in ghosts. And for some reason, when I'd walk through the woods and I would go the wrong way, when I'd be contemplating, I'm like, maybe this is the way back. I'd start 2 or 3 steps and then acorns would fall right in front of me, like literally in front of my face. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Sometimes that happens, I guess. And I would keep walking forward and more acorns would fall right in front of my face. I'd turn around and go the other way. Turns out that was the correct way. This kept happening to me each trail that I would go on. More and more acorns would be leading me. It would tell me, go the other way. After a while, I was like, you know what? Some kind of nature spirit is helping me or protecting me right now. I should listen to it. And anytime that an acorn would fall, I'd be like, thank you. I get the message. And I'd go the other way. And it would always lead me back to the place that I needed to be. I noticed that acorns and deer were happening a lot in my life. When I went to Salem for the first time, I picked up this patch that I was drawn to, and of course it was a deer. Turns out my Patronus from Harry Potter is a deer as well. The last thing that happened to me was when my husband and I lived in New Hampshire. Maybe our house was haunted. Maybe it was just we were new homeowners and we had some bad luck. One time I was laying in bed with the lights off, just scrolling on my phone, and I realized something was right in front of me and it was staring at me. I saw that it had 2 little horns, almost like it had a cat hat on. It looked like a little kid, but I couldn't make out the features. I just felt that it was. It didn't do anything. I was just scared. Eventually called my husband and he turned on the lights and nothing was there. In that house, I would randomly hear footsteps above or below us. Could have been mice, which we did have, but sometimes it sounded a lot louder. In general, we just had a lot of bad luck in New Hampshire. Beautiful place, beautiful home. It was a tough time. They were far away from family, and that's very tough to be isolated in a new state by yourselves. Maybe it was hauntings, maybe it was just new home ownership and being an adult. Anyways, we have finished the stories. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good, spooky, and safe Halloween. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks guys for watching. Bye!